Good evening. It's 6 p.m. and I will call this meeting of the Oak Harbor City Council to order. It is January 18th, 2022, and I'm presiding over this meeting on behalf of Mayor Severns and Mayor Pro Tem Munz. We will begin with our invocation led by Pastor Kevin Scott from the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So, following the invocation, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. So please join me in standing if you wish.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for your goodness to us. Thank you for caring about us and supplying all that we need to live, Lord. Father, tonight I want to ask for wisdom for the council members as they meet here tonight, making decisions for our city in Oak Harbor, Lord. Father, give them the wisdom and the guidance that they need. And Lord, I pray that that the best interests of the people of Oak Harbor will be kept in mind as they make their decisions tonight. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Due to COVID-19, this will be both a physical meeting location and virtual meeting per Washington State Proclamation 2028. Due to Governor Inslee's order, masks are required for everyone in council chambers regardless of vaccination status. City staff will be participating via teleconference, and guests are included in staff presentations will be excused from the Ring Central meeting at the conclusion of the agenda item as appropriate. Tonight's meeting may be viewed live via our YouTube channel or cable channel 10. At this point, I'll have our city clerk do the roll call. Julie?
Thank you, Councilmember Hizon. Councilmember Evans?
Present.
Councilmember Hoffmeyer?
Present.
Councilmember Stuckey?
Present.
And Councilmember Hizon.
Present.
Thank you. Councilmember Hizon, Mayor Pro Tem Munz, and Councilmember Wiesner have asked to be excused.
Does someone want to make a motion to excuse Munz and Wiesner? Mr. Hoffmeyer?
I move that we excuse Councilor Wiesner and Councilor Munz. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to excuse Councilmember Munz and Councilmember Wiesner. All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye. And that is unanimous. They are excused. Next up is approval of tonight's agenda. Are there any suggested changes to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, it is approved as presented. We're going to begin with a community proclamation for Arbor Day 2021 and Arbor Day 2022. Our city is an annual participant in Arbor Day activities and tree plantings and has earned Tree City USA recognition for the past 18 years. In 2021, the city of Oak Harbor proudly planted more than 24 trees throughout the community. However, due to the ongoing pandemic, we did not host a community gathering event, and the issuance of the 2021 Arbor Day Proclamation was inadvertently overlooked. So staff contacted Tree City USA, and they agreed that a proclamation prior to January 31st was acceptable to meeting its requirements. And therefore, on behalf of Mayor Severns and the City Council, we will make the following Arbor Day Proclamation for 2021 and the Arbor Day Proclamation for 2022, and I will have Councilmember Stuckey read the 2022 proclamation.
Thank you. The proclamation reads as follows. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday named Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fire, and beauty for our community. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, we, Mayor Bob Severns, and council members of the City of Oak Harbor, do hereby proclaim April 30th, 2021, and April 29th, 2022 as Arbor Day. In the City of Oak Harbor, we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, we urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Thank you, Councilmember Stuckey. I'm going to put our Parks Manager on the spot a bit here. Mr. Don Crawford, do you have anything you would like to add or say or contribute?
Just that I really appreciate the flexibility. We were between parks managers at the time, and then with the COVID and not having an event, we were certainly not the only municipality in the state of Washington that did not get a proclamation. But again, I appreciate the city council's flexibility, and I assure you we will have a whiz-bang event for 2022.
Looking forward to it. Thank you. Next, we have community presentations, and we will start with our Senior Services report. Tonight, we have Liz Lang, our Senior Services Administrator for the Center in Oak Harbor. She is joined by representatives of the Oak Harbor Senior Center Foundation and Island Senior Resources. Ms. Lang, do you have guests to introduce?
I sure do. Good evening, Council. As Councilmember Hizon introduced, I am Liz Lang, and tonight I do have, it looks like the camera's doing something a little funky. I'm sorry if you guys are seeing that as well. But I do have Duncan Chalfant here with me tonight, representing the Oak Harbor Senior Center Foundation, and Sharon Weiser, who's the Executive Director of Island Senior Resources. She and I have done a co-presentation to Council before, and it just works so well to give a comprehensive overview of senior services that are happening in the city that we wanted to do it again this year. So I'm going to do a screen share here and get my presentation up. Make sure I'm going to get the right view for you. Are you seeing the first slide of a presentation?
We are.
Are you still there?
Yes, Liz, we do see your presentation.
Okay, thank you. So tonight I'm going to start with a quick review of what we have done here in Senior Services for the City of Oak Harbor in 2021, and then turn the time over to my guests here. I've had the opportunity to meet many of the new council members as they came through on the tours here, and that was very exciting for us to show you the center in Oak Harbor here. And I want to just start off with reminding everyone what the mission of our Senior Services Department is, which is to empower older adults in our community for personal independence, healthy aging, social connection, and lifelong learning. And really the way we do that is focusing on overcoming isolation and fall prevention. So a lot of what we do here at the center looks like fun, which it is, but it's fun with a purpose. All of our programs are focused on overcoming two of the main issues that older adults in our community face, which is isolation and fall prevention. A lot of our programs are evidence-based programs for these two purposes as well. But isolation and fall prevention among our older adults not only causes them a lot of issues, but also a large cost to our healthcare system and our emergency response, which we know is already under a lot of pressure to do a lot of good. So we see ourselves as a partner in prevention with them. So just a quick budget and review. I don't want to spend too much time on all of this and would be happy to come back in front of you again for any in-depth information that you would like, but I did want to provide you with an overview of our 2021 budget. So you can see our revenues and where they come from in running the center, and you'll see that just over of our budget is from general funds. And then following that with passport services, then our different programs and classes and membership, then donations. And those donations come in forms in all sorts of ways. And Thrift, they have been an ongoing donor of the center. They donate $1,200 a month to the programs here at the center, which is just fabulous for us. And then this year we did receive some Arpa funds in 2021 for our program assistant position to reinstate that position, which we lost at all. And then our rentals. And then you can see that our expenses, the largest is and then building and operation maintenance, and then our program operations. So you can see for our 2021 budget, and then I say over on the right-hand side, I say to date because it's, you know, the year hasn't closed out yet. So, and I know our finance team is working on that, but here we are to date, which we were happy to, you know, be able to come in under our expected expenditures. And you'll notice between actual, there's about a difference, and that is the $100,000 that was budgeted to fix the roof at the center here. But as you might remember, we did opt to postpone that to 2021 because of the severe increase in expense to what the quote came back for our roof. So that accounts for that difference in funds. But as for 2021, it was an interesting year to budget for. We budgeted for the year to be full operations starting in June, which I don't know if he had a crystal ball when he came up with that, but that's pretty much what happened is we were able to reopen our doors for in-person program in June. But before that, for the first half of the year, although our programs couldn't be in person, we still kept very busy here as a small staff of 2 for most of the year until October. These are a bunch of our classes we were able to offer virtually. We took over, let's see, what was it, 400 vaccine booking calls to assist older adults in booking vaccine appointments. As many know, the appointments were only available online, and most of the older adults who wanted to get those vaccines right away did not have any way to book online. So we spent quite a bit of time helping older adults book vaccine appointments. And we were able to host AARP taxes early last year before the tax deadline, and 338 older adults, mostly lower income individuals, were able to have their tax returns prepared for free here at the center using that service that was available to them. So we definitely kept busy for that first year, even though we weren't technically open for in-person programs. And then the second half of the year, we were able to open for in-person programs. We were able to host our resource fair, which is an opportunity for other community partners, provide services for older adults, and kind of have all that information for aging well in Oak Harbor in one area for people to come and to learn about. We did our holiday lunches and our brunch boxes, and our Gift of Connection for Senior program. We provided gifts for older adults. For 13 seniors this year received gifts of their choosing through this program, which we hosted in part with the Northwood Aging. So just to give you a little kind of show of how things went once we opened for in-person programs, this kind of outlines the check-ins. So when people come to the center, they check in, kind of like when you visit the gym, you check in. And so you can see that increase that went on throughout the year, with our peak this year in October, and then a decline again. And this is just people coming, members coming to participate in programs. So this doesn't include people coming for passports or other services here, or who are receiving meal-on-wheel delivery, which Sharon will talk about more in her presentation to you. And it definitely was an amazing year for passports. You can see that we budgeted to receive about $16,000 in revenue, and we did $43,000 in revenue. We processed over 1,200 passport applications last year, which was kind of an amazing feat. And on the right-hand side, you can see just the trend of our membership, how it has continued to grow over the years, reaching a peak in 2020 before the shutdown of over 1,000 members. And so we're slowly rebuilding and regaining, continuing to come back as additional programs are added. So I mentioned before Island Thrift being a community partner, but we also, I wanted to take this time to recognize that there are many community partners. So all of the different agencies that are shown here on this slide all provided financial support in one way or another for the center and programs that we offered last year in 2021. So we're grateful for the ongoing support of our community, and also of people, especially when it came to the Arpa funds that City Council has already approved for our program assistant position, as well as rebuilding our programs. It just has been really, really reassuring and exciting for the older adults that we serve. And this year we're looking forward to are open for our programs, and they are being well attended. We have some travel opportunities that we're extending. We've already got people signed up to go to Ireland in September and Maine in June with our third-party company that we use, Collect Travel. And again, we'll be hosting AARP taxes. So right now, anybody who is in need of tax services can sign up on our website at oakharbor.org on the Senior Services page. You can sign up for an appointment to get your taxes prepared by AARP. We're doing that Wednesdays, starting the first week of February and continuing to April 13th, right before the deadline. So with that, I would ask if council has any questions. I would love to answer them before, if there is any, before we move on to Duncan. All right, well, Duncan, I'd like to welcome Duncan and give him the floor here.
Hi, good evening. The Oak Harbor Senior Center Foundation is working hard to better serve our members of the center. And to that end, today we just had a meeting, and we are very excited that we have Lynn Bankowski joining our board. And if you don't know Lynn, she's a just recently retired member of the Alaska Federal Credit Union Bank. And she's an awesome community supporter and volunteer. So we're really happy to have her. Last month, we learned that we received a PSE Arpa grant to restart the in-person meals at the center. And this is a really great program. It's a proven program for alleviating isolation in seniors. And it's great to have it started up. It just had its first date last Thursday. So we had a turnout of 18 people, and that was just a really good start. And food's being prepared by a local restaurant, and then we're serving it here. Some of the foundation members are helping to serve. And PSE thought that was such a great program that they also added a corporate grant on top of that for another $5,000. And then we just learned here in January that we got an Island County ARPA grant, and this is going to extend and enhance our in-person meal program. And so we're really excited about that also. So we hope to be expanding till Tuesdays and then being able to extend it later into the year. So that's a great thing that Island County is helping us with. Let's see. We've also helped out with the funding the management, the membership tracking program that they use at the center to help track members as they come and go during the day. So that's a good one. And we spent some time helping with the Gifts of Connection, and we funded that partially too. So Gifts of Connection is a good program for reaching out to seniors who are isolated during the holidays, and we're happy to help with that. A portion of the Island County ARPA grant is going to go towards the organizational development and marketing plan for the foundation. And through our efforts as past president Dave Johnson and other foundation members and city administrators, we have a proposed memorandum of understanding that defines the roles and the goals and objectives of the center and the foundation and the city's roles, as they pertain to serving older adults. The foundation is committed to providing greater financial assistance for programs and services to older adults. That is our mission, and we hope you approve. Thank you.
Duncan?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my video is not staying on, so I apologize that I'm coming and going.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't give you a cue, so I...
No, perfect. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
For outlining the foundation and the proposed memorandum of understanding. You'll see that that's on the consent agenda consideration. And if you do have any questions about, please ask. And just like this slide says, it's not, the MOU doesn't change the existing relationship between the entities. It just really is outlining the ongoing relationship that we're paving the way for the foundation to build on what they're already doing to add to honor. So we're really excited about this opportunity. And if there aren't any questions about the MOU, I'd like to introduce Sharon Weiser as the Executive Director for Island Senior Resources and our partner in serving older adults here in the community, and turn the time over to her.
Thanks so much, Liz. I really appreciate being able to partner with you this evening and providing the information to the City Council of Oak Harbor. Island Senior Resources is celebrating its 50th year of existence in providing services to seniors in Island County this year. And I want to go over what our total program looks like, but I also want to dive deeper in what of these programs happen specifically in Oak Harbor and North Whidbey. So as you can see, Aging and Disability Resources, and if you're not familiar with that, that really is you can make a phone call, you can email, and we also do in person. Even during the pandemic, we have gone out to people who are really struggling, either as a caregiver, as a senior, during this pandemic, to try to assess what's going on and how we can help them stabilize in this very challenging environment. We took 7,899 phone calls last year from individuals who, were in need in one form or the other in terms of resources through that 2,369 clients. And in the Oak Harbor North Whidbey area, we had 596 of those were from that area, and 2,022 calls. And just recognize that Island Senior Resources has been the recognized recipient of federal and state funds to provide these services since 1974. Meals on Wheels is probably the one you know best. And Meals on Wheels last year provided over 80,000 meals to shut-in seniors, people who would otherwise not have had the nutritional needs that they have met by their own inability to serve themselves or get out into the community or so forth. And in North Whidbey and Oak Harbor, there were a total of 26,147 meals served to folks. And we had to expand some of our Meals on Wheels routes during this time to serve the increase in the need for services. Now, I also want to call your attention to the fact that, and I think every time I come to Oak Harbor City Council, I'm always doing a pitch for volunteers for medical transportation, because 65% of the requests for rides for medical transportation come from North Whidbey. And many of our volunteers who provide that service are coming from Coopville or farther south. So there were 79,949 miles driven for the volunteer services component for people who are shut in, and for our Medicaid transportation, there were 47,000 miles. So we really, there are a lot of folks in your community that are depending on that to be able to get to their medical appointments, which can be anywhere from Bellingham to Seattle, anything in between, and on island as well. We also served for North Whidbey folks 153 people who are eligible for Medicaid, on Medicaid, being diverted from long-term care facilities out of 253 or 33 people that were served. So that's where we stand right now. That's really reducing expenses for all of us. We really view ourselves as first responders in many ways, because we often find situations both through our Aging and Disability Resources program, as well as Meals on Wheels, or even the transportation program, where people have many needs, and we then call in EMS or other services and other programs to be able to assist. We had close to 500 volunteers. Without those folks helping us out, this would not happen. We wouldn't be able to provide these services. ISR didn't provide a overview of our financial structure, but I can tell you that only 52% of what we need to provide these various programs, and I'm not going to talk about every one of them, but only 52% comes from government support. So we, get some participant contribution through Meals on Wheels and through transportation, and we seek other grants and community support in a variety of ways. I'm delighted to say that we are going to be really even more robustly present adjacent to the center this year. I've been working with Liz to have our staff really take more ownership over the modular building. So our case management programs there, Aging and Disability Resources and Family Caregiver Support will be there. We'll have a Meals on Wheels assessor who will be located there as well. And we will continue to make use of the kitchen for the distribution of Meals on Wheels meals 3 days a week. We provide hot meals 3 days a week, and additional frozen meals for the other days of the week for folks who don't get out and are not able or unwilling during this pandemic period to get away from their home and come to the kinds of programs that Liz and Duncan were talking about. So we're excited about another year of service to our island communities. We look forward to continuing robust and creative partnership with the Oak Harbor Center. I just want to thank you all for your support of senior programs, and look forward to another successful year in providing important programs for important members of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are very blessed to have such a great people and organizations serving the older adults in the city of Oak Harbor. And even going, it just has been amazing to see how wonderful we're moving forward with the new to continue this and reach the needs of our community. And I'm glad Sharon outlined and brought up the fact that they will be moving into the modular, and I'm just so excited to see. Before we had one here, a resource specialist, and now we're going to have this whole team of. It really is becoming a great community campus over here to serve our senior community. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lang and Mr. Chalfant and Ms. Weiser. Are there any comments or questions from council at this time?
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to work next door to the center, to really see how wide of a variety of the population they're able to serve, and how important the work that's done at the center. The foundation, the contributions that they make, SeniorResources, and as Liz mentioned, it's becoming a whole campus over there with SeniorResources moving into the modular, and a couple of things are abundantly clear. Liz is doing a marvelous job running the center, and we need to get a roof on that facility this year. And thank you, Liz. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Hoffmeyer.
appreciate it, Councilmember Hoffmeyer.
Anybody else? There are a lot of people that really depend on the services you provide, and it never ceases to amaze me how much you're able to accomplish with so few staff. And I think we got a little taste of it tonight and saw some examples of how you're able to leverage other community organizations and volunteers to make sure all of the things get done. So congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you for your positive comments. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have an annual report from Oak Harbor Main Street Association. Executive Director Margaret Livermore will provide the report. Yeah.
Executive Director currently for the Oak Harbor Main Street Association. I have been for almost a year. And a little history about us. We were incorporated in 2014, and then we became a 501c3 in 2015. Then we applied to the Washington State Main Street organization to become a community, and in 2016. So we're a rather young organization. And Main Street started, it's a national organization. In 1980, it started with Main Street America, and there's over 1,200 cities that belong to this, this program. In 1984 is when Washington Main Street started. And in 2010, it moved from the Department of Commerce to the Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation. So that's the overruling government program that runs our program. And the mission for Main Street is to revitalize street economy, appearance, and image of your downtown. And our personal mission for our historic downtown is to actively promote a vibrant historic waterfront community, which I think we are working really hard to do. We have right now 7 people on our board of directors, and they're listed up there. And we have 2 staff. I'm full-time, and Teresa B. Saw is our part-time marketing coordinator. And then Main Street runs on what's called a 4-point approach. We have 4 different committees that work on 4 different types of projects. We have outreach, promotions, design, and economic vitality. Our district runs from City Beach Street to Midway to south of South Barrington to North Bay Shore. And in our community, we have actually 101 businesses. I forgot to add a couple that started up, joined us this year, and those were Encina's Construction and Kingston Welding joined us at the end of the street. So we have 101 businesses in our district, and there's there's a wide variety of different types of businesses, as you can see, that we try to help support. So our outreach committee, they're responsible for coordinating our volunteers and public relations and fundraising. And so under those, there's lots of different things that happen. We have a lot of volunteers. Last year we had over 100 volunteers to help with our projects. And these pictures you can see that we did a spring clean, and part of that spring clean was to wash all the large flower pots downtown, paint them a pretty color of blue so they stand out and look nice. We had an Easter egg hunt for the kids, and we have some volunteers stuffing eggs. We decorate downtown with our toy soldiers, and so you can see volunteers. There's Dan up there volunteering, putting up the toy soldiers for downtown. We have different events. We had a Sasquatch walk, and we have volunteers that are fixing our water bottles for that. And then we have volunteers help with our pop-up plaza. And then we have one volunteer who used to work for the school district, and he's decided upon himself that he will take charge of helping clean up the sidewalks downtown. So he walks around town when the weather's nice with his little scooper, and he cleans up all the stuff off the sidewalks, which is really exciting. We appreciate him being down there. Then public relations has to do with helping support the city and other organizations in our community. We helped with the oak. We had an oak tree event for the Year of the Oak. We helped with collecting canned goods and products for the Help House. We have downtown. We have the Christmas tree event and the tree lighting, and Santa comes, and so we're down there, and we're. This picture is from a couple years ago, but we had the police department down there. We helped support the Irish Wildlife Society and their event, and then the kids, when they were graduating from high school, we had these crews downtown. And then also sometimes we have chalk out and let the little kids paint on the sidewalks. It washes off eventually, but it's fun for them to be able to do that. And then the fundraising, one event we do is a big give, and that's something that's done in Washington State. All nonprofits can go to this website, and they can pledge money to any nonprofit in the state of Washington. We get money fundraising through the Main Street Tax Incentive Program. Last year we had 20 businesses that pledged their money to this program. We received funding through grants. We got an Arts Fund grant for $10,000 to paint the mural and to do part of the pop-up plaza. We get grants from Walmart for some of our events. We have LTAC money that we receive for projects. And then we also have donations and sponsorships. And another part of our fundraising is having fundraising events like our Sasquatch Walk, which we started last year. It was very successful. Everybody had a real blast going around, tasting food from lots of different restaurants and going into stores they'd never been to. Fortunately, it was one of the hottest days in the summer. So, so people were a little hot that day. Our other committee, promotions committee, is the next one. We work on marketing downtown. We have a walking map, and last year the city gave us money to produce that walking map. It has all the businesses that are downtown. It goes on the ferries. It goes in the chamber allows us to use one of their slots on the ferry boat through certified folders. It goes into the chambers, into the hotels, and it's passed out downtown. And then we do retail business promotions downtown. We have the numerous ones up there. You can see Fidalgo Fridays is the businesses in that little block up there in Fidalgo get together second Friday of the month and have little events. So we promote those events, and they're very successful. We had an acorn hunt to celebrate the Year of the Oak, where there's acorns in some of the murals downtown. We had people search around and look for the acorns, so that was fun. Then also we have special events, and that we do. We have an Easter egg hunt for the kids. We do the No Tricks, Save Treats, and I'm sure you all know about that. And this was the biggest event we ever had this last year. I've never seen so many kids and families down there wanting to just get out and enjoy the event. We didn't close the street, but we'll definitely do that for this year to make it a little more safe for everybody. We had volunteers from the Navy and from the JRTC that helped block off intersections and made sure the kids were safe to cross the streets, so that was good. And then we started another event this last summer, and it's by the Harbor Vintage Market, where we have antique vendors that come on the street and sell their wares. We had the would-be cruisers down there as well, so we're going to do that again this year. It'll be the weekend before Hydros. We don't want to conflict with their project. The next committee is design, and design has to do with public spaces. And one of the public spaces that we were able to fix up was an empty piece of land that an owner that lives on Mukilteo has, and he allowed us to create it and turn it into a pop-up plaza. We have a beautiful mural that's painted on the walls. We have a couple pergolas that are up there. We brought tables in, and then we're going to get a stage put up. Hopefully, shortly, it's in the Planning Commission to get our permit right now. But then we can have music at events and during the summer. And it's a beautiful, nice little space. And all of it was through grants and donations and sponsorships, everything that we put in there. So that was really exciting. Another part of design is to leverage what we have built and what we're going to build. And so we have a facade improvement grant. Last year we gave out $10,000 for facade improvement. The one piece you see there is just whimsy. She redid the front of her space. This year we're offering $15,000 in facade improvements, and that grant just went out. We do a spring clean to clean up downtown so it's ready for the holidays and summer and tourists, and we'll do it right before they do Holland Happening. We have a lighting project, and as you can see, just 2 blocks of downtown where we put up perimeter lighting. They're LED. I have a little app on my phone. I can change it however I want it. It's lots of fun. And we've done banners to put on the poles downtown. We also worked with Skagit Valley College. We had somebody design in Skagit Valley College. Weld Group built our archway on Serendipity Lane, and also built the sign you see in Beeksma Park. The city helped install both of those, and that was wonderful for them to do that for us. And now we're working with the city on 2022 to work on continuing Serendipity Lane. The city owns that strip of land to create a nice lighted pedestrian walkway that'll connect Pioneer to Bay Shore. And so people that are parked down there will come up, and people up there will go down. And so it's one of our other projects, and the city's helping with that. We're real pleased with that. The next committee is Economic Vitality, and that committee is responsible for trying to find new businesses and diversify what we have downtown. Actually, during COVID in 2021, we had quite a few new businesses that came into our space. The 2 that I left out there were, as I said, Encina's Construction and Kingston Welding. And coming soon, we have a skate shop that's going into where we had a furniture store that wasn't quite successful. And we also have Seaside Spas opening up soon in where Carla retired from. Kraken's Cove is going to be a seafood restaurant, and that is going into where the old OHT was. It's supposed to be doing soft openings maybe in March, so that's exciting. And then the old JoJo's was bought by a couple from Langley, and as you notice, they've taken the whole front off of it and going to redo it. And I'm not certain, but I understand it's going to be a pub. I've reached out to them, and I haven't heard anything back from them. So hopefully we'll find out soon what's going to go in there, and that'll be a nice addition to downtown. The next slide, let's see. We can't see it very well, but that's our budget for next year, and our budget is around a little over $200,000 for the year. It takes care of our operations and all of our projects. And then, as you can see, I broke out our operations budget, includes salaries, insurance, rent, advertising, and that's $100,430. So our overall budget is I think it's 213 for the year, a little over $200,000 for the year for 2022. But we get most of our money income from people pledging us through B&O tax, and this year I know that I saw in your handouts that you got that you noticed that the state of Washington has raised the limit that for that program from $2.5 million to $5 million. And so what that means that each community, which there are 36 of, I believe now, can each raise $213,333 through this program. Right now, the first quarter, they broke it out so everybody gets a equal chance at it. It used to be that 1 second after midnight, everybody had to fight over the money. Now they don't have to do that anymore, which is wonderful. So the first quarter, each community can raise $180,000. And then after that, the rest of the money is open for equal, jumping and getting. So from the 180, you can make up to 213 total. So if you don't know about the program, if you pledge, say, $1,000, the next year on your B&O tax credit bill from the state, you get $750 credit. And so then you get the $250 as a write-off to a 501c3. So it's a win-win for everybody. The city has been very supportive, and they pledged their PUT tax to us. So we're asking the city this year if they would pledge, like they have done in the past, $95,000, which we will use for our operation, cover part of our operations. The rest of the money that we earn goes to our projects that we're building, our lighting projects and our other projects that we do downtown. And visit downtown and shop local. So any questions?
Thank you so much, Ms. Livermore.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to hear that it's not so competitive now when it comes to applying for those funds.
Right.
It was always such a scramble, so
Yeah,
that's
was.
great news.
It's nice for everybody.
That's
for
great
sure.
news. Anybody have comment? Go ahead, Mr. Evans.
I'd just like to say I've had a great time in my time with Main Street, and the lights downtown are looking great. You're doing a fantastic job, and I can't wait to see what Main Street's got coming for us in the future.
Great. Thank you
Looks
so much.
good.
Thank you for serving.
Mr. Hoffmeyer.
Margaret, thank you. It seems that you practice some type of modern-day alchemy here. And with that, everything you touch seems to turn to gold. And I can't wait to see what's in store for Main Street this coming year.
Thank you. We're working hard. I hope it works well. Thank you so much.
Anything, Mr. Stuckey? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got our citizen comment period. Citizens may comment on subjects of interest not listed on the agenda or items listed on the consent agenda. Citizens may also comment on corresponding agenda items when we get to that item in the meeting. In this hybrid meeting format, citizens can attend and give comment in person or via the online comment form at oakharbor.org/public comment, or email the city clerk at jlindsay@oakharbor.org prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting, or call 360-279-4571 to leave a voicemail that will be played during the council meeting. Call to leave a voicemail after 5 p.m. on the Friday preceding the meeting and prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. When leaving a voicemail for public comment, please state your first and last name clearly and limit your comments to 3 minutes. We have had no comments from employees since our last meeting. We did receive 3 comments from the public, which were forwarded to council, and we will display them on the screen now. we have any members of the public who would like to make a comment? All right, seeing none. We will move on to the consent agenda. Staff has presented the listed consent agenda items, all of which were included in the meeting packet. Are there any objections or changes to the consent agenda? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved as presented. Got a whole list here of mayor's comments, so I'll start. The announcements and upcoming events. Island Transit. After evaluating all aspects of the public transportation system, Island Transit has identified where improvements can be made to create more accessible, convenient, safe, friendly, and sustainable bus services. To this end, they just launched the Island Transit Maximized, and will have a survey for public input coming soon to their website. So please check out www.islandtransit.org/island-transit-maximize for more information. The mayor's comment box online. It's available on the city website via the search box or under How Do I, under the second column labeled Contact the City. And the city is hiring. Find out more about available positions on our website at harvard.org. We have a number of new hires this month, as well as 2 former employees who are returning to work in our Public Works Division, and 3 employees who are being promoted. So congratulations to Otto Hafner, promotion from firefighter EMT to fire lieutenant. Congratulations, Otto. And Jeremy Andriano, promotion from officer to sergeant in the police department. And Jonathan Valenzuela, promotion of officer to sergeant. So congratulations to all of you and to our brand new employees. I look forward to meeting you. All right, next up is council comments. To help me keep track of who has spoken, I'm going to do this meeting kind of round robin style. So I'll start on one end and call on you. And if you don't have anything, just say pass, and then I'll move on. So for council comments, I'll start with Mr. Hafner.
This is my second meeting here now, and looks like we're short-staffed tonight. Wishing everybody safe travels and good health. And other than that, let's get to work.
On a personal note, having read the mayor's comments for Mayor Severance, I really love the personnel report in there. I love hearing about the promotions, and we've got some former employees returning to Public Works and some new hires, so I would like to see that continue to be a part of the report. So thank you to staff for including that. All right, so we've got no public hearings. So we will move to ordinance and resolution. So item 7A, resolution 22-04. Encouraging state legislators to review, discuss, and take action on the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, WASPC documents titled Improve Washington's Law Enforcement Public Policy Reforms and Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs Pre-Session Statement. Our Chief of Police Bresker will present. You want to go ahead, Chief?
Sure.
There's no need to throw things.
Yeah. Councilmembers, thank you. I thought I'd come here tonight in person based on the presentation of this. It's a pretty important issue. Can you hear me okay as I speak with my mask? Okay. I've never been accused of being quiet, so that's good. So all the material was sent out to you, including those 2 documents from what we call WASPIC, which is the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, which most chiefs and sheriffs belong to in Washington State. Just a real quick background. As you're aware, in 2021, numerous changes were made to the Washington State laws regarding law enforcement in the communities and what can be done, how it can be done, etc. A lot of discussion. The laws move forward and have created a lot of issues with public safety. Even the sponsors of the bills are aware that some changes need to be made. WASPIC has engaged in a lot of conversation, and the legislators are back in session now as of January. It's a short session. They're done in March, I believe it is. But there's some proposals to try to modify the bills that were changed to allow for more tools for law enforcement to accomplish public safety along with the community. So what I want to do is just read the recommended action and then basically be available for questions. I know one council member visited with me today, asked a couple questions, but I want to be available for questions after you. Again, you folks have all read the documents. What we're proposing is a resolution. So, recommended action. And pardon me, I got to remove it from my nose or I fog up. Recommended action, approval of Resolution 22-04, encouraging our state legislators to review, discuss, and take action on the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, WASPC, titled Improve Washington Law Enforcement Public Policy Reforms, and Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs Pre-Session Statement. And those are the two documents that I presume you've all had a chance to read. So I am open for any questions that anybody may have regarding what the proposed resolution is. And obviously that resolution was the face sheet on there, which then refers to those documents.
Thank you, Chief. Before I ask council, I'll ask if there are any members of the public that wish to comment. And Julie, did we receive any comment from the public online?
No, Councilmember Hizon, we received no public comment.
Thank you. Okay, I will start with Councilmember Evans. Questions, comments?
Just a comment. You know, the foundation of our responsibilities as a city is our public safety with fire and police, and I'm fully in support of what we want to do here. This resolution, I believe, is important to get you guys back to where you need to be able to do the job of protecting our citizens. So I appreciate everything that you guys do for us, and I'm fully in support.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Stuckey? Councilmember Hoffmeyer?
Yeah, like Chief said, he spoke with one of the council members earlier today. I had some questions, so we had a good discussion. First of all, let me start with I emphatically support the men and women of the Oak Harbor Police Department. The reputation that Chief Dresker has helped the department build over the last 5 years has been amazing. That said, I'm leery to wade into something so political. That's political on a level away from here. So that was why I had the conversation with Chief. And like Councilor Evans said, the safety of our community comes first. Chief pointed out that some of these proposed changes would help the Oak Harbor Police Department keep our citizenry safer. I wish the conversation we were having was a more Oak Harbor Police Department specific requested changes. And I'm still looking at this document here, and we'll see. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffmeyer. I think that the legislative reforms was a great example of well-meaning legislators thinking that they were doing something to improve a situation that obviously needed improvement, but they did so in a way that wasn't terribly productive, and if anything made things worse. So I really appreciate, Chief, you keeping us apprised of not just the new legislation, but how that affected you. You give us very specific, real life, everyday examples of how it affected you. And it's no secret that policing could be improved, but it's also no secret that Oak Harbor has an absolute stellar police force, and all of our men and women really care about our community, and I believe that with my whole heart, and I know that you do too, Chief. So at this time, I would.
Could I add?
Yeah,
comment?
go ahead.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
So just addressing a little of what you said.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, this is not specific to Oak Harbor.
Right.
These statutes were not specific to Oak Harbor. I think if you ask anybody or talk to most people, most of this generates from certain population area, the larger areas. Differs east-west on who supports what, but the law changes affected every law enforcement officer in Washington State, no matter where you're from, whether you're sheriff, police, or state patrol. So it does have a direct effect on us, not maybe to the degree of some other areas because of the frequency of crimes that occur there and here. The other thing I want to make sure you understand is this is a resolution endorsing the changing of these based on some suggestions from WASPIC that are general in context from what you're looking at. In other words, we didn't go down line by line with all the laws, just a general contextual statement. And a resolution from you folks based on what is written here is just agreeing with support based on all of this. It's not binding to anybody. It doesn't change the law. It's just simply saying, hey, we have these concerns, we agree with this based on the resolution, and we'd like it to be seriously looked at and some action taken. Doesn't even say what the action is, it's just take action on it. So from that standpoint, what you're doing is there's a resolution on a general topic.
Thank you for the clarification, Chief. I appreciate it. So at this time, I will entertain a motion. Councilmember Hoffmeyer.
I move that we approve of Resolution 22-04, encouraging our state legislators to review, discuss, and take action on the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, WASPIC, titled Improve Washington Law Enforcement Public Policy Reforms, and Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs Pre-Session Statement.
I'll second.
Thank you. We've got a motion by Hoffmeyer, second by Councilmember Evans. Any further discussion before we vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
And that is unanimous. That passes. Thank you very much.
And then also, Councilmember, I
Yes.
don't know if it's appropriate or if we need to read the resolution in open council session, or if it's just written, we're okay with all that? Okay, so
Okay.
it's just written, it'll be published as such, and I appreciate your time tonight and your passing the resolution. Thank you very much.
Please keep us posted. Thank you. All right, next up, contracts and agreements. Professional Services Agreement, Oak Harbor Main Street Association for B&O tax reimbursement. And it looks like we've got Chaz Webster on the screen to present.
Yes. I go ahead and share my screen here. All right, can everybody see that?
We can see it.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, good evening, council and staff. I am Chaz Webster, Finance Analyst. And this item is in relation to Margaret Livermore's earlier presentation tonight. We're seeking council approval of the Oak Harbor Main Street Association Professional Services Agreement. Here is a historical summary of the Main Street program. The Washington Main Street Tax Credit Incentive Program is a state program implemented in 2005. The program provides a tax credit against the city's excise tax filings for contributions given to eligible downtown organizations. The city chose to participate in the program as of 2015 per Resolution 15-44. Following the resolution, once a permanent board of directors and executive director are appointed, the city will consider the execution of a professional services agreement. Here are the program rules. Once the contribution is approved by the Department of Revenue, the organization making the contribution is eligible for 75% of the contribution to be applied to the following year's excise taxes. The program is only available to Main Street associations in cities or towns with a population of less than 190,000. Effective October 1st, 2021, the maximum annual contribution to each Main Street association increased to $333.33 from $133,333.33, which equates to $160,000 increase from $100,000 in tax credits. Also effective October 1st, 2021, statewide cap increased to $5 million from $2.5 million. And the available $5 million in tax credits are divided evenly by the number of Main Street associations in the state. Provided on this slide are the URLs for frequently asked questions and the special notice of the changes made effective October 1st, 2021. For the terms of Resolution 15-44, the city enters into an annual professional services agreement with the Oak Harbor Main Street Association. The professional services agreement includes the scope and schedule of work, terms of payment, and the independence of Oak Harbor Main Street Association, among other items. Our last PSA was dated March 16th, 2021, which terminated at the end of this year, or 2021. For 2021, the city contribution was $92,833, which equaled a tax credit of $69,624 to be used in 2022. As mentioned in a previous slide, the maximum contribution is set at $213,333.33. The city's potential contribution for 2022 is up to $95,000. Other potential contributions from other organizations is $118,333.33. So the city will reduce the contribution if other organizations contribute more than $118,333.33. So staff recommends approving the PSA with the Oak Harbor Main Street Association for 2022. Thank you, and please let us know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Webster. Before I turn to council, I will ask if anyone present would like to make a comment. No? We're looking at you, Margaret.
I would just like to say thank you so much for supporting Main Street and supporting us and working with us in our projects and everything.
Thank you for everything you've done. Julie, have we received any online comments?
No, we received no public comment on the item.
Okay. Councilmember Evans, questions, comments, concerns?
I definitely support what the Main Street Association is doing. I've been very involved with them over the past years, and I do really look forward to seeing what they have coming. The organization has really transformed into a fantastic unit of board members and volunteers. They've grown drastically over the past number of years, and I think now is the best time of any to continue supporting them to see what they're going to do for us.
Thank you. Councilmember Stuckey? Councilmember Hoffmeyer?
Yes. I move that the city enter into a professional services agreement with the Oak Harbor Main Street Association, consistent with Resolution 15-44.
I will second.
All right, motion by Hoffmeyer, second by Evans to approve the recommended action as presented. Any comments, additional comments before we vote? All right, all those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. Thank you.
Councilmember Hizon. Councilmember Wiesner has joined us via the telephone.
Welcome, Jim.
Yes, I am here.
Aren't you supposed to be on vacation?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for making the effort.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we will note that Councilmember Wiesner joined the meeting at 7:09. Jim, have you been here long enough to hear the discussion on the previous item, or did you just walk in the room?
Yeah, no, I've been in for about 10 minutes, and I would vote aye on that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, next up, item 8B, extend offer of employment with Interim Public Works Director Mick Munken and Human Resources Director Emma House will present. Go ahead, Emma.
Good evening, council members. Emma House, Human Resources Director. Hopefully you're able to see my screen. I am here tonight to discuss the Public Works Director position and to extend the interim contract with Mick Munken. I have a couple of slides to share with you. These are the two areas in our Oak Harbor Municipal Code that were important to highlight regarding the temporary employee status and the appointive process of the director level position. And here is some background information for you with some dates as to when the position became vacant. When we presented some recruitment options to City Council in July of 2021, and after that presentation is when the mayor selected our current interim public works director, Mick Munken. He began employment with us on August 30th of 2021. And most recently, December 17th, 2021, we did open the permanent recruitment, and we have been collecting candidate applications. The City Council members, we will be inviting a few of you to assist us throughout the process as we go through it, but we are in the preliminary phases right now of collecting applications. Due to the timeline for recruitment, it brings us here to extend the current contract with our interim Public Works Director, Mick Munken, until a new Public Works Director is hired, but no later than May 27, 2022. So the motion to authorize is here on the screen, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. House. Before I turn to the council, I will ask if there are any questions from the public. Any online comments?
No online comments.
Okay. Thank you. I will start on this end. Oh, no, I did that last time. See, I did this to keep it easy and keep track, and I'm already losing track. Mr. Hoffmeyer, do you have any questions or concerns?
No, I don't.
Councilmember Stuckey.
I do have one question. This may be appropriate for the city administrator. I understand the applicant pool that you've received thus far for the permit position has not been large. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you have a different strategy going forward between now and then to attract a larger applicant pool?
Absolutely. We're going to use our part of the interim status extension is using Mick Munken to help us in the recruitment and to encourage colleagues in his field to apply for this position. And then we're going to go out wider. We went through the Christmas holidays, and that might have contributed to the smaller pool. So certainly we'll take advantage of that time. And I just really want to thank Mick for his efforts, and I think you've seen a lot of his experience and that he brings to the field and public works and engineering, and has been a real mentor to the public works staff. And so he's given us the opportunity to extend him a little bit. And like I said, this is dependent upon how soon we're able to hire somebody, so it'll be less time, but we might as well ask council to basically go the maximum time, and then if we're able to bring somebody on sooner, it will be a lesser time.
Thank you.
Councilmember Evans.
Yeah, I guess I'm curious why we wait until December 17th. I guess this is a question for the administrator. You know, we're only 3 weeks from the end of the second 90-day period that is authorized for the mayor to extend this position. Why are we waiting until the last minute to start marketing for this position, and now we're in this situation where we have to extend?
I don't know that I agree with that it's the last minute, but I think strategy-wise, we wanted to utilize them, and it made sense to go in that period, and so that's the way the timing kind of worked out. So we do have the possibility here of extending them, so I think we'll probably try to advertise at a more favorable time.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I had a chance to speak to Administrator Oborn in his office before the meeting because I had a couple of questions about the position. So if you, not necessarily about Mr. Munken specifically, so if you guys will grant me a little leeway. I wanted to confirm whether or not this position as a department head would be at will or for cause, because previously the Public Works Director was one of, I think, just a couple of department heads that was for cause as opposed to at will, and that was always intended to kind of drop off and then become at will to be consistent with the other department heads once it was filled. So can you confirm, Administrator Obor, that is the case?
That is the case, and the legislation, that the ordinance was written, so it only applies to the current Public Works Director at the time it was passed, and that individual no longer works with the city, so it doesn't apply to any subsequent city administrators. And as a housekeeping item, we can consider bringing that forward in the future to just make it, to take out that one-time kind of confusing exemption there. But certainly, as mentioned here, we'll include the council in the process. This position is appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council, and there is a contract that specifies the at-will, like we do with the other department head positions. And we'll do it the same way, and that'll be part of the confirmation of the position. So we'll involve council in the process like we have in the past on that, and certainly with the other two department head positions that we've done, the development services director and the finance director. And I think we had really successful recruitments on that, and we had a successful recruitment for an interim, and so we're working for a successful recruitment for the permanent public works director.
Perfect. Thank you for confirming that. That was always the intention of the action, and sometimes when we take action so many years ago, it's hard to remember exactly. So I appreciate that. And I also requested that we have like a meeting or a workshop or a boot camp of some kind as a refresher for current council members, and since we're going to be bringing on 4 new ones, about the roles of city council when it comes to personnel, because things can be a little confusing, and I know I could use a refresher, and I think it would be really helpful for our newer council members. So I'm not sure if that would be done through the AWC or the MRSC, or if you know, Emma House wants to give us the rundown. But I think with so many open positions, it would be really helpful for us to get kind of a crash course on the different roles of council and administration when it comes to personnel issues. Personally, I would really appreciate that. So just throwing that out there for now. And let's see. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the recommended action as presented.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor to extend the offer of employment for interim public works director Mick Munken until such time as a permanent public works director is hired, but no later than May 27th, 2022.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Stuckey to approve the recommended action as presented, second by Hoffmeyer. Any questions or comments before?
I have a comment.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot you were here. Forgive me.
That's okay. That's because I'm really not there, so it's okay.
Thank you for interrupting, Jim. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out, you know, Administrator Oborn, you get that this is a pretty important subject for the council. This is one of the, short of your position, you know, one of the highest positions within the city. And you know, we certainly appreciate, you know, council being allowed and to be involved in that hiring process. I guess what I'm going to suggest is that, you know, there's a lot obviously goes into the hiring process up front, and you know, maybe it'd be appropriate to bring a couple council members in at this very early stage. You know, another set of eyes, another perspective. You know, maybe we have some input upon, you know, the job description. Maybe we might have some input upon, you know, where else we could market, you know, for this position. You know, I'm just thinking we could be an asset for that. And I think it would make, you know, the rest of us on council maybe, you know, a little bit more comfortable with the process as we're moving forward, knowing that we've got those eyes and ears there. So that would be a suggestion that, you know, I'd like to see us pursue. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember Wiesner. Mr. Evans.
I would just like to make a quick comment. I would just like to encourage the administration that when we do have someone that we need to fill a position for, we should take advantage of that time that we have, get the marketing out there. You know, as Councilman Stuckey mentioned, that, you know, we don't have a thick pool of candidates. If we had more time on the bench to get those candidates in line, we may be sitting in a different position. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions before we vote? All right, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 And that passes unanimously. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Munken, for sticking with us. All right, next up, we've got an executive session. Item 11, the council will take a short break, and then we'll enter into an executive session to discuss with legal counsel potential litigation. Action may or may not be taken upon return from the executive session into open session. Anticipated duration is approximately 45 minutes. Executive sessions are not open to the public. And we will resume at around 8:05-ish. Is that it up? Okay, good. I need someone to check my math. Okay, so we will recess for a couple of minutes and then meet in the mayor's meeting room. And
Oh, we could do it right in here.
okay, I was like, and Jim, I promise we'll bring you with us.
Can I do remote? Yeah. Okay, all right, they got it set up,
Yeah.
we're going in there then. Okay,
All right, at this time we will take a brief recess.
all right, thank you, good. Send it again.
It's 8 o'clock. The City Council is going to add another 30 minutes to our executive session, so we will resume back in open session at 8:30. Thank you. It's 8:30 and the council would still like more time, so at this time I'm going to extend executive session for 20 minutes and we will reconvene at 8:50. Thank you. And we're back. It is 8:44. We are back from executive session. No action was taken. And there's nothing else on our agenda, so at this time I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
I'll second that. So we have a motion by Hoffmeyer, a second by Hizon to adjourn, and we are adjourned. Thank you for going easy on me tonight, and stay safe out there. Good night.